Good morning, Big Brother hometowns. Sorry for the slight delay. I completely forgot about this. Um, I was downstairs, and then Stokes like, "Wait, is morning tea happening?" I didn't even see the text. I'm like, "Oh shit!" I was just so in weekend mode that I was like so excited because I've had such a rough week at work. Hello, Lee. Hello, Jabbar in heels. Hello, Miss Andra. I am. Yeah, I just like totally forgot. I was like, oh fuck, I still have a job to do. Ha ha. But life goes on. I am here joined with fellow production member who reminded me that this should be happening, Mr. Stokes.
I haven't been on in so long, and so I was like, I actually have a free Saturday morning. Like, let me try and get on here after my stint of 5 days.
Yes,
I know y'all.
my co-host is back. My co-host is back. I'm not
Hey,
sure if K-Pow counted your video as you yelling.
yeah, well,
I
I
haven't.
didn't. I made it very clear that I was not yelling because I was not upset. I was not mad at anybody. I just had something to say.
It's something. Wait, something to say. And I'm joined by one more guest. I'm super excited to have him. I passed along my instinct crown from season 3 to season 4. He is our BBH11 alumni. It's Andrew Marcus.
Hello, hello. What's up? Happy to be making my morning tea debut.
And of course, it happens from the home gym, which we
Yep.
all became so familiar with.
This is where anything org related happens in here. Happy birthday, Billy Stevens, by the way. Happy birthday, Billy Stevens.
Yes, Billy, happy birthday. I'll tell you to your face in a couple days when I see you in DC. Not like he's watching. And speaking of, I need to text my brothers because it's also my brother's birthday.
Hey,
Give you the reminder.
It's really bad because Foster last night was like, "Oh, it's Billy's birthday," it's really bad because it didn't hit midnight and we go, "Oh, it's my brother's birthday," but Foster's like, "It's Billy's birthday," and I'm like, "Oh shit, that means it's also my brother's birthday." It's bad that I remember my brother's birthday through Billy Stevens. This is what this org community has done to me. I was like, "Oh fuck, I need to text them, be like, happy birthday. I guess I should buy them something." We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And then my mom's birthday is in 3 weeks, so April's a rough month for me in terms of finance. And there's Mother's Day. Disgusting.
It's all coming.
Anyway, thank God my dad's not in my life because he's also born in April. Moving forward, we're here to talk about Take 20. I also blame Ramon. No, he was nice to me yesterday, so we're okay. Here to talk about day 20, so it's going to be the end of Jeff's HOH reign, the eviction of Kelly Farmer, and then, girl, Adele's playing in the background. The tables are turning, and Kadri is now the new head of household.
Can the tables really be turning when you've been the HOH every other round for 4 rounds in a row?
That's tea.
The table is back to him.
But when he's the only person completely, like, unaware of he knew what was happening, but like no one told him what was happening in terms of the steal a vote. He was the only person left out. Him and Kelly were the only 2 people left out of the entire conversation of it all. He deduced it, but like again, much like how Jeff was left out of the, how Bridget was getting voted out, like there is power in, there's power in not telling someone something and then them rising to power, and now you see these people quaking, being like, maybe we should have told him, maybe we shouldn't have stolen his vote, maybe we should have done all these things to him ahead of this live HOH, but we'll get there.
Yeah, he has a ton of valid reasons to put a bunch of them up. So,
and they're trying to backtrack right now. They are trying to get anybody but themselves up, and it's like it's too little, too late. Like
it's been I've really enjoyed this season, just in like an overall narrative, like in terms of like the people that were in power at the beginning of the game, and then they lost power. And now, like when we saw people like Arrow and Luis and Anwar kind of rise into a really powerful position, only for them now to kind of be on their heels a little bit. And I don't know, I love that back and forth. I've always said that that's my favorite part of Big Brother. And so like this season is really delivering in terms of like an overall narrative that we can like really look back on this story and be like, yeah, this is really fun. Lots of shifts. Because like all of a sudden, like I looked around like 4 days ago, and all of a sudden, Kara was like in the best position ever.
Yeah.
After being like in such a bad position to start the game, and I was like, oh my god, what happened?
Truly, she's so good. Hopefully she doesn't go home this round, or I'll cry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle
It
that.
could happen. It could definitely happen.
It very well could. We'll have to see. Move that away from myself. Where's my agenda? There it is.
Yeah, I will say Kara picked the right time probably to like step it up a little bit. She like kind of like got her footing under her early on, and then started to make those relationships that were going to take her deeper into this game and might even save her if she does hit the block here.
Yeah, her game changed when her and Anwar really connected. Like at first they were like close, but then they were, as they got closer, and they were like, because they're so opposite. Like you get on a call with them, and like Anwar, I mean, typically most of Anwar's cars are like, like just like huge, and then Caro's always just like, but like there is something about Anwar that brings out like Caro's like inner mess, and I love it. Like she gets on call with him, and she is just like going. That's how I know that like Anwar is her person, because she is just like talk. She's throwing things out there, and usually she's very reserved. But that was the relationship that really set her down this path of like, no, I'm gonna like make something happen here, and unfortunately, it's gonna catch up with her a little bit, I think, here, or with one of them. It's gonna catch up with one of them at least.
Yeah, and that just happens when round to round a different person goes to power.
Yeah. That is the name of the game.
Yeah.
So to begin day 20, Jeffrey. Obviously, I've been very low on this move, and like it's not, and me and Soaks have been texting about it like throughout the entire round. Do I love the move? No. It's like meh to like not great for me. It's the lying and the ghosting and the treating people like they're less than for me, and then kind of, and it's great because he hopped on call with Kadri yesterday to kind of explain his side of the situation, and Kadri fucking owned that ass. Kadri is like, this sounds really stupid to me, I'm just gonna be frank with you, and like kind of just like laid it, like from how I've been seeing it, it's just been like, you did all this because she told one thing about you, and Kadri's like, a lot of people have been telling things about you. Like, Anwar's been telling things about you. And he's like, well, she spread this straight man's alliance. And he's like, she didn't. That's Anwar. And he's like, you believed that. And, like, it just kind of was great for Kyle. You're kind of just, like, lay it out on the line for him and be like, this was kind of a lot from you for Kelly, and for what? But the big thing, though, is Kadri really was like, Jeff, why did you lie to her? Why did you lie to me? Why did you lie to Olivia this entire time about how Anwar was the renom when that never was the case? He's like, you've always known that it was going to be Kelly. And he's like, here's the thing though, and because he had known this because he hopped on call with Kelly after Kelly had hopped on call with Louise spilled everything. Louise was like, Kelly, hey, you're going home. I know people might be lying to you, like, you're going to go home. Everyone's voting you out except for maybe Kadri. You've always been the target. Jeff told us that the initial noms were not the targets, and that you were always the backdoor option. And that just breaks Kelly's heart, because Jeff couldn't have, like, Jeff got on call with her and was like, no, you're not the target. I would let the house decide. Made her think Anwar was the renom. Like, all these things, when this plan has been locked up, for the most part, 80% chance that this would be done. When she didn't get picked for veto, Kadri was the only chance she had to not have the veto played. So Kelly's just feeling really defeated here on day 20 because of just like, what was the reason? Like, so much false hope for her across this entire round. And then to be told by Louise, like, yeah, everyone's just lying to you. Like, as a juror.
Yeah. So I got to know Jeff a little bit during Instinct. We were very closely aligned. I know him as a person and how he's able to connect with people on an emotional level. And so him targeting Kelly really does sting him. And he's really struggling to like balance game decisions and personal decisions. And the personal decision says, I can't tell this person I want them gone. And the game decision is to own up, grow some balls and just tell her this is a game decision and you're a big threat to win it. And I think it's my best decision. And she might even respect that more.
Yeah, it's gosh. I feel like I've been like the one person trying to be like, okay, I'm trying to see it more from his perspective. And maybe that's a bias of mine because I really enjoy Jeff. But like I know that sometimes it is very much the easier thing to do to just lie to people so that they're off your back. And like I think that this is where Jeff makes a mistake here is that like instead of like Andrew said, like instead of just confronting the truth of the matter, and that he instead wanted to get Kelly off his back essentially and give her this like, no, it's not you. Like I'm just gonna let him like my hands are clean, like, and that's just not it. And I feel like I've tried to defend this move for Jeff, but I'm not defending that. Like what I am have been wanting to defend about Jeff, and this we all know that playing Big Brother Hometowns means so much to Jeff. It has been something that he has wanted for seasons, and this is the first time I've ever seen Jeff pick himself over a game relationship or over a friend. And I think there is something to say about that. At least like I want to give him the roses for that because that is not his typical gameplay. It is not his typical game style. He literally goes down in flames in every single game for his friends. And this was one of those things where he said, no, this is something that a friend did to me that hurt me. And I have to make the decision that I think is best for myself. And he told us that he was willing to do that coming in to the season. We didn't believe him, but here he is proving us wrong in that like he's willing to do it. And I do ultimately have a lot of respect for that. I wish he would have done it differently. I wish he would have just been more straightforward about it. But ultimately, like I'm surprised to see this out of Jeff. I'm excited to see this out of Jeff because I think it's potentially going to open him up to being an even better player down in a future game that he does get to play. And so I'm hoping that he kind of keeps this energy. And then I'll say too, it's working out for him. It's like,
He got the right HOH win. He got
luck is definitely a factor, but like there were several people who weren't going to nominate Jeff based off of the way that round went. Like I said yesterday in the VL, you had Elise and Caro, who I don't think would have nominated him. They were a part of that plan. They may have, but they were part of the plan, and they were basically benefiting from him making this move, and they were a part of it from the get-go. You had Anwar, who now feels like he's in debt to Jeff, and then you have Kadri, who him and Kadri had got on the phone and made basically like a safety pact, essentially yesterday right before the HOH, saying maybe we can just kind of protect each other for a little bit. Like if I don't nominate you, if I win this one and you don't nominate me at live night, like maybe we can kind of make it a few more rounds through this. Well, that's 4 out of the 7 people who were playing in the veto.
Yeah, it's true.
Jeff couldn't play in the veto. So that's, 5 out of the 8 people left in the game weren't going to nominate Jeff. He kind of put himself in a decent position. And I kind of want to at least see the value in that. And obviously luck plays a big factor, and Kadri winning is great for Jeff. And so he's going to get to continue on in this game because of that. But yeah, I can't be that mad. Like I said yesterday, I can't be that mad about this.
I think he's definitely like factoring in like what's coming up. Like he knows live night has some coin factor, and he knows how many coins he has. He knows some of these end game competitions are possible, and he's looking ahead a little bit, which is smart on his end. And he sees a path whether he has these strong relationships or not. Like he's just confident in himself to navigate it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. As much as we've said that, like, people would nominate Jeff, and I trust that Elise and Carol probably wouldn't. but we have people throwing people under the bus to Kadri because of coins, which is hysterical to me, but Jeff is not one of the names that people are throwing under. It's funny because Jeff is now becoming what's being perceived as, like, not a threat in this game. Like, he's a threat for Live Night, but he's not a threat to win this game. I think a lot of people... I think his lack of social game is coming back to bite him a little bit, and people aren't seeing him as a front runner here. So I think that's where people... He's now being seen as, hey, he's a number. And maybe he's a number for me and not a number for them. And now he's becoming this, like... He's like the flag in the middle of the tug-of-war. It's like... He's not going to win. He'll be on the winning team, but, like, we want him on our team. So that's what it's becoming now.
But when he wins out and cuts everybody on his way down to the end, are you going to say that people aren't going to respect that? I don't know. Like, it's going to be, I feel like that's going to be, if that happens, it could be very impressive to, like, a jury. And, like, I think maybe he could be in a good spot to win. I don't see it necessarily, but it's definitely possible. I also think the problem is that Anwar, Luis, and Caro did not do a very good job of hiding how close their trio was, and then that ultimately is what's biting them in the ass here and letting Jeff sneak by, because this trio has risen to a very powerful position, and they have kind of flaunt. Anwar's not very good at hiding it. He's gonna get on a call and kind of boast and flaunt it in people's faces and try to drop subtle hints and be sneaky, and it's like, boo, you ain't sneaky. Like, you ain't sneaky like that.
They've caught it. They caught it. Yeah. A lot of things have shook really great for Jeff, and it's great that he kind of took a back seat in all of this. Like, you know, the lies were not great, but he took. Friday he had a rough day because his boss played a prank on him, so he wasn't having a very good day in general. So it was good that he kind of took Friday to, like, take a back seat, because a lot of their people kind of, you know, made their game situations a little harder, given the hindsight that Kadri became head of household. So Jeff lucked out a lot, but, like, hey, that's Big Brother. That's the game. This was Survivor. We'd be like, well, Jeff, it's been nice knowing you. It's been nice knowing you. But he gets really lucky here and now is in a better spot. And, like, Lee at this position last season, I'm like, there's no chance he wins. Then coming into final jury questioning, I'm like, I don't think there's enough votes, but, like, it might be close. So,
it
like,
was definitely a non-zero chance. Like,
yeah, like, so Jeff might be that person right now where no one's like, yeah, he's not gonna win, and also people think that Kelly's really pissed at him, which she is. But, like, she told us on her way out, she's like, I will be over it in a few days. She's like, I will still consider voting for Jeff, but right now he's gonna have a lot to explain to me if he makes it to the end. So, like, people might think that his jury management's god awful. Oh my god, he's no chance to win. Yeah. I don't know about that.
And then one more thing about, like, his non-sets. Like, I do think whether he took the shot at, like, Olivia and Kelly or Anwar and Caro, like, he might finish this round in this similar position. So I don't think that Olivia and Kelly was the wrong decision, because he still has he probably handles the round the same way with, you know, icing people out, and he still has the whole pre-jury relationships that he maybe didn't, you know, create as strong as he should have. So, like, whether he took the shot at Kelly or Anwar, he's probably sitting in a very similar position.
It was a lose-lose for him, like I said.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the thing that's been the clearest to me about this whole situation, whether everyone thinks it's right or wrong or good or bad. Yeah. Like, he was going to lose people no matter what. And I think the fact that he comes out the other side, gets an HOH winner that's, like, positive towards him, like, it ultimately is going to bode well for him. And I just really want to see him either survive the block. Like, I said this about, like, I think I've said this about Ange. I said this about, like, other players that in the past, like, I just want to see them survive the block and prove that they have the social relationships to keep them in the game when they couldn't keep themselves safe. And if he does that, he might have a really good story at the end. We'll have to see. So,
yeah, let's wrap up before we get to the head of household. So, the vote's pretty easy. I mean, we've known this from the jump that the trio we've been talking about, Louise, Caro, and Anwar, would all be voting out Kelly, and then Louise would use her steal a vote to lock up 4 votes, guaranteeing Kelly's eviction. Slowly but surely, the advantage starts to get out to people. Olivia learns about it from Louise, who then tells Jimbo. Pretty much everyone knows about it except for Kadri, even though Kadri is losing his mind in his prod chat over the past couple days, thinking that someone has something at some point, somewhere, at some place. Yeah, like, he is so convinced that something's afoot here, and that's mostly because, like, no one seemed to, like, really be talking about the vote, and that's what, like, really tipped him off. He's like, why is no one talking about the vote? Like, it can't be this locked up so quickly unless someone has something that's locking up this vote. And yes, you'd be correct, Kadri. Something has already locked up this vote, and that is the steal vote advantage. And this is kind of what really sends Kelly in a bad spot, and just, like, how she feels about this cast on her way out. And I'm hoping that her message as she goes out really rings true with people. Obviously, we know Kelly does not value jury management a whole ton, because she'll have some days to sleep it off and come back with, you know, an unbiased attitude and ready to, like, listen to whoever's at the end. But I hope people listen to her, because other people will not feel that way. Other people will not leave to the jury house feeling the way that Kelly does about how to vote for a final two. So I'm hoping people do that, because the only person who really, the two people who got on call with her to, like, actually listen to her were Kadri and Olivia. And Olivia benefits. Like, Kelly gives Olivia all her notes about the season, gives her some tea that she could use at final jury questioning, which is great. If you can go to final jury questioning and act like you knew about all these alliances, true or not, final two is all about, and this might be a hard point here, it's about lying.
Yes, it is. Period.
You can add on.
Final tribal council and final jury questioning is about lying.
The game is not over. The game is not over until those votes are cast. Like, take credit when you can. Lie and say you knew this. Like,
exactly. Even if you didn't know it at the moment, but you knew after the fact, you lie and say, "Oh, I always knew. That's why I did this." Bitch, lie and fucking spin a narrative to make you a stronger player. So Olivia's learning a lot of tea that she did not know about this season, and now she can factor that into her jury speech if she gets there, and is like, "Here's all the things I knew about, and here's why I maneuvered the way I did." Even though obviously we know it's not true, but, like, hey, information is key. From 3 winners, we have taught you the message to winning at Final Tribal Council is lying. Lie.
This is my soapbox. I hate when people are like, I'm ready to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I'm like, bitch, I'm lying.
This was my plan all along.
Exactly.
Come on now.
But Kelly was so much fun to watch play this game, and she had her fingerprints all over it, and she was going to be hard to beat if she was sitting there. Yeah,
and, like, we all had her high on our power rankings, because I mean, we did not see this coming. Like, Jeff being told about a bunch of lies about Kelly, but, like, the one truth he held on to. Yeah. And he's like, she has to go for this reason. And, like, Kelly still was trusting Jeff halfway through this. Like, we did not see her downfall coming, like, this quickly.
It finally caught up with her, though. I think,
we knew it would.
We knew it would catch up with her at some point. Like, her, like, I mean, she even said this. I did her live confessional last weekend, and I was like, girl, like, I don't have a better word for this, but, like, you be leaking a bunch. You be leaking. She's like, oh, I'm a rat. Like, and I was like, you know, we knew it was gonna catch up, and, like, and I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm surprised that Jeff is the one that ultimately is responsible for doing it. But, like, it finally caught up to her, and, you know, I'm not surprised at that.
Well, whether it was to save their own butt or not, like, she would leak things to people, and those people would then rat it out to the people that need to hear it, and it just kind of, you know, backfired, and the people she was ratting it out to weren't as trustworthy to her as they needed to be.
But she was really hurt by the way that she just felt, like, completely tossed aside. Like, the minute that people found out that she was the renom, they were like, all right, bye, girl. And she was like, wait, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And even in a game, that stings a little bit, because you thought you had created something. It stings to be tossed to the side.
Yeah, because she thought she had people in her corner.
Yeah.
She's like, she didn't think that she was a guaranteed lock to stay, but she's like, I have a fighting chance, and people are telling me that they do have a fighting chance. And then slowly but surely she starts getting told, Girl, I don't know who's lying
Yeah.
to you, but you don't.
So I have thoughts about this actually. And I do think she did have a fighting chance because people
Yeah.
like Elise wanted to save her. And
Mhm.
Kelly walked into the jury chat yesterday and was like, I don't know why Louise felt it was necessary to use her vote to send me out unanimously. That's like cruel and like I don't like that. But I have a different opinion, and I don't know if the players will ever feel this way. But I think Louise used her advantage perfectly to make sure that Kelly left by telling everybody that she had an advantage, or she was going to steal 2 votes, and that she knew that she had the votes to save Olivia. Like there was no reason for people like Elise or Jimbo, who maybe have been on the fence about saving Kelly,
Think
like
about
to think
it.
about it, because they're like, wow, this is like I
Yeah.
can't even overcome this. I'm literally gonna have to. I don't have Kadri's vote to like bank on in saving Kelly. So like, there's really nothing that I can do here. And I think that was a really good move by Luis. And I don't know if she even realizes that that's what she did. But if she makes it to the end and she's able to explain that as an option or as a reason of why she did what she did, I would be very impressed by that if I was a
Yeah.
juror. So I think this was a great way to play her advantage. You don't have to play the advantage perfectly and flip a vote for it to be done well and for it to be an impressive move. And so I think that that was really good on Louise.
Yeah, lie away. Oh, I knew all along it would send out Kelly.
You all, yeah. Obviously, like, it's gonna bite her in the butt here because she didn't tell Kadri she was stealing his vote, and that's gonna bite her back. But no, I agree. I think, and even Anwar said it best himself. He was on call with Kelly the night before the eviction, so, and was like, I would like to send Olivia out. I think she's a bigger threat to this game. I think she has more connections than you do. Like Kelly, you've been completely iced out by everybody. Olivia still has some. Like Olivia still has Jimbo, and like while yes, Kelly did still have Kadri. Kadri has other options. Like
Yeah.
Anwar's like, I'd like to save you, but like the votes aren't there. If you can find the votes, I would. But obviously Anwar felt indebted to Jeff and wanted to give Jeff what he wanted. But like Anwar knew the votes weren't there. But I think Anwar deep down did really actually think that Olivia was the bigger threat here, but knew there's no chance you're staying. So like there's nothing like even if he flipped, it's still 3-3. Even with if Louise is voting twice and Caro, it's 3-3. Jeff is still voting out Kelly. So like he'd have to get Caro as well. Like he'd literally have to get everybody but Louise to vote out Olivia, and like Anwar's just not going to do that for Kelly at least. So that's kind of where we get to leading up to the head of household is where we get fully everyone realizing the dynamics of this house. Olivia and Jimbo realize it that Jeff, Caro, Elise, Louise, and Anwar are together, and Olivia, Jimbo, and Kadri are kind of on the outs here. So we see this trio start to form. We see it more solidify last night and today. I would imagine a chat is coming soon. Oh, wait, they already have a chat, don't they? They already do. It's the Pussy Willows. It's the remaining of the Pussy Willows. They already have a chat. I was like, wait, they do, don't they? With Kelly gone, they already have a chat. It's what's remaining. So the remaining Pussy Willows seem to be locked in as a trio for now. All 3 of them aren't trying to take each other to the end, but like they seem strong for now, and that's all that matters. Like alliances in Big Brother pretty much end at 5, 4. Like they're pretty much over once you hit 5. It's kind of like, all right, everyone for themselves. Good work, team. We all got here. But I can see that trio being dominant in these next couple of rounds, especially if they can pull over Jeff. I think what will be intriguing, and we'll talk about it right now, is the coins of it all. As much as Jeff is not deemed a target right now, the coins of it all is what is really deterring a lot, or it's really engaging a lot of conversation right now as to like, will Jeff even take the head of household? As much as he has the most coins, there's safety on the board. Can they convince Jeff to take safety? And what the house guests don't know is that the first thing we are offering is safety. We're not offering the head of household first. So does Jeff instead just bid for safety and just take it outright?
He should,
like,
right? He doesn't need to get, at this point, he almost doesn't care who goes home as long as it's not himself.
Exactly. Like, why take the top 7 head of household when you can be safe at 7 and then win the top 6 head of household? So this trio is like, maybe we can get him to take safety instead, and we stay in power because Olivia has the second most coins, so she could take the head of household and continue to annihilate the other side and come into top 6 with that trio still intact, with Jeff kind of by himself and then 2 people remaining from that other side, probably Elise and then someone remaining from the Anwar, Kara, Luis trio. So we'll have to see if that ends up coming to fruition, or if they go, okay, maybe we just give it to Jeff, but we need Jeff to like not come for us.
Yeah.
Because
So he was on the phone with Kadri yesterday talking about this exact thing. And Jeff, I don't know why, but he said he was going to win HOH.
Yeah.
And which makes no sense to me,
Yeah.
because like you said, but like in Jeff's mind, he's like so convinced that if he makes it to 6, that he can win out.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If that's your opinion and that's what your game plan is, fine. But like, why would you not give yourself 2 shots to win safety at 6 instead of just the veto? Like, I don't understand that.
And here's a tip for you Big Brother players. Winning the even-numbered competitions, or the even number of people left in the competitions, is better in Big Brother. You want to be able to play for top 4 head of household. It's the best competition in the entire season, because you win it, you're in the top 3, and you get to play for top 3 head of household. It's the best comp of the season. Right. You don't want to be top 5 head of household. So what Jeff is setting himself up for is a top 7 win, and then maybe a top 5 win. Then you can't play in top 4 head of household. That's the one comp you want to play in.
And it's great to have that confidence in your ability to win these games and know that it's a possibility. But like, if you rely on that, there's other people that are smart too, and then have been taking notes. Like, I don't doubt Kadri at this point, and Olivia's a gamer. Like, she's got her notes set up. So like, you're kind of like, undervaluing what they're capable of, So I'd be nervous.
Yeah, the only person in this top 7 who's not, or top 8 is not a like super strong competitor in terms of challenges is Caro. Everyone else is very strong, has won multiple comps either this season or has won multiple comps in another season. Like, everyone's threatening, and it's shocking that Jeff is so confident in his comp ability when it's like, Jeff, you've been beaten plenty of times when you've been trying to win. So like, don't, like, he has to have a backup plan. He needs to have, in my line of work, a disaster recovery plan. When the worst thing happens, what do you have to recover? And I don't know if Jeff has that. So I look forward to a big conversation of today and tomorrow being, what is Jeff going for? And if he's going for head of household, is he on our side? And if he's not on our side, how are we getting ready for that? Because, and I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. I think Kadri is going to be a greedy little bastard because I love him for it, and he's going to go around demanding shit from this man. He's about to be
he already promised him safety. He already promised him.
And I guarantee you, he's going to want more because Kadri's a greedy bitch. Kadri asked for this before he was head of household. Now that Kadri's head of household, he's going to want fucking more.
No, like he already called Jeff this morning. And they
didn't ask for anything else?
He didn't ask for anything. He said, Jeff, you're good. You're not a nom or a renom. You're good.
Kadri, you fool, demands more. Get what you want, Kadri.
He will give you a lot right now, probably.
He will. Yeah. He will.
Like, he shouldn't be, if you're HOH in the next round, like, I'm off the block completely, too.
Yeah, like, Kadri, because if you're keeping Jeff safe at live night and he wins, or if you're keeping him safe against live night, Jeff wins live night and takes out a number for you, then was it all worth it? Was this whole plan, Jimbo, or not Jimbo, Kadri, make sure that this live night goes well for you. If you're going to keep someone who's going to dominate it safe, you need to make sure that he's going to dominate it in favor of you.
Right.
So Kadri did a live confessional this morning. It was really good, actually. It was really insightful if you guys are watching and have a chance to check that out. But like, he basically told me that the minute that Jeff doesn't win a competition after Final 6, he's done. and I was like, So I asked him that basically they have this like safety pack to get through live night, and he was like, yes. So
Yeah.
I think they're both maybe not putting each other up, but if they find themselves on the block, they can easily be voted out.
both of
Yeah.
them have to go, and like that's the overall consensus. Even like Olivia, who I would say is probably a good ally to Kadri right now. She's like, no, I can't sit at the end with him. Absolutely not.
Fuck no. Absolute God, no. Hell no.
Like, I really see if we're at Final 8, like in theory, like Anwar, Jeff, Kadri,
Yeah.
and maybe Luis or Olivia need to be the next 4 boots if like someone like an Elise or a Caro wants a real awesome fighting chance at winning. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to get rid of those players. So
Yeah, but like, let me say, mad props. I know we haven't talked a whole ton about them because under the radar icons. Elise and Jimbo continue to really play these past couple of days very well in terms of being like, oh, I see the dynamics of how this house is going. Let me push myself in the middle, not be a target. Let me sit back, wait for this war to end, count the casualties, and then reassess. Elise and Jimbo, I think, are locks for top 6, top 5 for me at this point.
Well, we'll see if we'll see if Jimbo doesn't get backdoored this round.
I think Jimbo's a casualty. Like if he's on the block with Olivia and Olivia saves herself, then Jimbo's maybe in trouble.
While we've been on this morning tea, Caro and Anwar have thrown Jimbo under the bus to Kadri, and now Kadri is telling people he wants to backdoor Jimbo and not Caro. So,
but then on the other hand, with Elise, I feel like everyone assumes that they're with.
Elise definitely gonna be in the top 4 at least.
Well, yeah, well, I take back my words then. Like,
sorry, Carl.
Kadri, why? Okay, we'll get to it. Okay,
That's my king. That's my cracked out king. I love him.
Who doesn't want Elise in their end game? Everybody does.
Everyone, and a lot of people think that they can beat them, which
I think is true right now. Honestly, I love Elise, and Elise is really struggling to figure out the game, like the game strategy behind Big Brother. I think Elise is going to make it to the end, but I think they're going to have a really hard shot at winning unless they win another HOH and really make a move that's like, if Elise takes out an Anwar or a Kadri or an Olivia, then maybe that we could get them in the consideration a little bit. But for right now, I have a really hard time seeing Elise winning.
I just think everyone sees them as like a slam dunk, and I just find that really hard to believe. Like, Elise is far more likable than a lot of these people are, and that weighs a lot more than a lot of people realize. Like, just being likable at the end of the day and being able, and they are very well spoken, is enough to swing a jury in their favor. So, like,
some people
I agree with you? Yes, but I just like, people are like, Elise is a slam dunk. I'm like,
or getting votes against, like, she's getting the votes that are against the other person. Like, I don't want to vote for somebody like Anwar, so I'm voting for Elise.
Yeah, I think Elise also potentially, Elise has been very busy, and I think has had to pick and choose where they spend their time on calls and who they're building relationships with. And I know even Olivia last night did a live confessional and was talking about how they might go a couple days without speaking to Olivia. Olivia and Elise might go a couple days without speaking, and it's got some doubt in Olivia's mind about where Elise stands in the game. And if Elise is doing that with multiple people, could potentially be hard for them to get to the end game because of they don't have those super solidified relationships. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Elise makes it in this game and if they have a shot at winning towards the end.
And I think I already heard like Jeff tell Kadri that he has a final 2 with them. So like if that news gets around the house, like how much will it affect their game?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Kadri and Jeff, I think both would take Elise to the end with them, and I think they would both beat Elise handily. So that's not going to work out for Elise. So I want to see them do something about that to like increase their chances or increase their odds of winning.
Exactly. Like for people like Olivia and Kadri who have this story, kind of like their best bet might be like targeting the people that are seat fillers, like people that are like everyone wants to take them to the end. So maybe that's a reason they need to go.
Absolutely. Somebody who's sitting at that end game that's going to take up a seat, get them out. Get rid of them, especially if you're a big threat, especially if you're playing an out in front game. You got to take those people out so that there's a seat for you there potentially.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. We have confirmation from Kadri that he is just lying about Jimbo Renom to everybody.
Okay.
Jimbo can stay. But okay, let's get into it. So head of household last night was No Vacancy, which I think I've officially declared it as my favorite competition to host, because I just really enjoy just everyone's interactions with each other. Just everyone being like, I want to agree with that, but like clearly everyone's just lying. It's my favorite part is when people start to lie and then people continue to be like, so do you want to work together in this? And they're like, there are liars here. What the hell? What do you know? I'm not trying to work with people. It's my favorite thing. But this game benefits people who are willing to work together. And I think Caro, Anwar, and Louise miss a great opportunity to, and I think it plays into the fact that th're really trying really hard to downplay how close they are together. Like, Anwar was on a call right before the head of household with Kadri, and he's like, I didn't even know Louise was using the veto on me when she did a few rounds ago. Like, I didn't know who the Renom was. Jeff didn't tell me who the Renom was. Jeff told me so last minute. I was shocked it was Kelly. And Kadri's like, boy, just own your shit. Like, they're trying so hard to hide something that is like so clearly evident. Yeah. And it shows here in this HOH comp where they could have just actively worked together. And it's hard to fight up if three people are working together in this challenge. It's hard to fight them because if you want to combat that, someone has to actively throw away their chance to win head of household just to sabotage them, and that means that you then have to actively support somebody else in this game. Like, if you want to take out someone, you have to actively support another horse in the race. So it was odd to see that trio not work together because they easily could have won this and continued to be in power had they just did it. But I think they were trying so hard to hide their relationship that ultimately we end with Kadri and Olivia in a tie, which I was like, those are two people I thought had no chance to win this. I thought for sure people would be sabotaging them with the doubling powers and all these things. I mean, Kadri said that himself at the beginning of the challenge. He goes, not another social strategic game. Oh no. After I think
that was my absolute favorite moment of last night was when they all said they were going to go to this one place together in the first round, and then Kadri was the only person who didn't follow through with that, so it kind of screwed people up a little bit. And then he goes, no, not somebody lying. And then everybody's like, well, I went there, and he goes, I went there, I learned my lesson that you don't lie in these social strategy games. I was targeted for rounds after that, and like, this bitch was lying.
He's so good.
He's so fun.
Good. I love him. But Olivia actively throws the tiebreaker to allow Kadri to win the head of household. She regrets her throwing it because she thought Kadri would go after Jeff. And then immediately afterward, when she talks to him and he's like, yeah, I'm not putting up Jeff, she goes, well, maybe I shouldn't have thrown this tiebreaker. God damn it. But Kadri is our head of household, which just, again, it talks about how crazy this season is, because we asked a lot of people who they'd be targeting if they were to win the live night. Anwar was thinking Kadri and Elise. Olivia was doing Jeff and Caro. Kadri was doing Anwar and Louise. Jimbo was doing Jeff and Elise. Elise was doing Jimbo and Louise. If you're counting, no one has had the same 2 nomination sets of the 5 people I just named. Like, this game has never been predictable. Like, every day has been like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And so Kadri winning is the worst case scenario for this trio, because he is the one person who will not target Jeff. Like, the people who were like of the other side, Jimbo would have done it, Olivia would have done it, Kadri would not do it. So this trio is quaking and doing anything they can today to push Sus, which is funny to me because they're pushing right now. They're talking about how Jimbo has bet all of his coins on the HOH winning the veto. they told Kadri this, so Kadri will be actively throwing the veto today because he doesn't want Jimbo to have a whole ton of coins, and he'd rather keep his word to Olivia and Jeff that they can have the most coins coming into Live Night. But Amor and Carol, like, you have to be worried about Jimbo's coins. Like, he's such a threat. And I'm like, y'all,
Yeah.
this is not Mad Libs. You don't get to. This is not blank has the most coins and it says write a person's name in there. Bitch, it's Jeff. You can't try and make an argument about someone having a lot of coins and not say Jeff's name.
Yeah, you
That's
can
not how
feel
this works.
it's all just my back's against the wall and I'm gonna say something and hope it sticks. Like,
Yeah, like, y'all, like, I love Anwar and Kara, and they have been a very powerful duo in this game and have lied their way to this point and have accurately gaslit people all season long. Kadri ain't the one. Kadri is not the one to do it to. He will look at you in your face, lie to you, and then come to his DR laughing about how cracked you think this man is, thinking he's gonna believe your lie.
and you have to almost like bow down to his ability to read the house in his first game. Doesn't even really understand the flow of jury, but like yet he smells it and he listens to his intuition and he's making some really good decisions.
His BS detector is absolutely insane, and
Yeah.
also like, hey boo in the VL, hey, like sometimes I feel like, man, just like, geez, his reads are so good.
Yeah, he's so good. But where we end today, I guess at the end of day 20, which is where we are at, is, Caro, Amor, Louise doing whatever they can to damage control what happened last round, because of, one, the lying about the steal a vote, two, the way they sent out Kelly, and that was like his girl. Like, he would go to war for Kelly, and Kelly was one of the last calls, or he was one of the last calls Kelly was on before her eviction, and she was just so torn up about how she was treated. Like, she has no care in the world about she was getting evicted. It was the way that she was so tossed aside, and Kadri was ready to make some bitches pay for that. And this trio knows it, and they're trying their best to damage control, but it's done.
No.
The bomb has been dropped. There are casualties. There's blood, and Kadri does not care how much you try to clean that away and wipe that from his memory. He's coming for that ass, and he's gonna be successful. Like, the only way this isn't successful is if Caro gets picked and wins the veto. This is a veto she can win. I'm not saying she doesn't. She won't. But it's very likely that she doesn't, because this is, spoiler, it's stay or fold. Yeah. So this is something that people, if they see Caro's bet, can accurately stay or fold to make sure, like, everyone's goal here at this point is to just ensure Caro doesn't win it.
Right.
Obviously,
and it feels like everyone else will keep the noms the same.
Pretty much. Like, Anwar and Louise will obviously use it on themselves, but, like, if they could get Caro the win, they're going to try, but the other random players are going to do whatever they can to ensure it's not Caro, because if Caro wins, then, it likely is going to be Elise that touches the block, and Elise does not want that.
Or Jimbo. That actually, in that scenario, maybe he does. If Caro takes down Anwar.
I think it would be. I don't think it would be Elise. I think it would be Jimbo. I really think that would be. I would be surprised.
That would be so bad. That would be so bad.
But that's what I love about these rounds. That's
I
love about Final Seven.
At the very least, what he did was, like, he took into account, like, the likelihood of Caro winning a competition. Like, that is his best case scenario. Like, like you said, she could win it, and you never count anybody out. But, like, that's the best spot to be in, is Caro needs to win veto to take one of them down.
But the best, that's my favorite thing about the Final Seven and the Final Six, is that if you have a split game like this where it's like one, very close numbered sides, if that does happen, then someone they have
could lose.
Yeah, and that flip of the game at that you can make at 7 or 6, you're, as the HOH, putting someone out of the game that's your ally.
And if Caro wins, we can see that, because I think Jimbo and maybe Jeff comes into consider. Like, you never know if Caro wins and he has to make a renom. It could be any of. It won't be Olivia. I would be shocked if it's Olivia.
And tonight's competition is stay or fold, so it's not like this is out of it's not like it's a particular skill set. It's just counting.
Yeah.
And everybody here has a fair shot at it. Everybody here has a good chance to do well. So it just depends on how, their betting strategy, if they know how to play stay or fold, if they've played it before in other orgs, or if they've watched, the strategy behind it. So it'll be interesting to see.
I'm very, very excited. But so that brings us to the end of day 20. As we look forward to day 21, we will nominate Anwar and Louise in about 10 minutes. Kadri has already sent us his video. I haven't watched it, but I'd be shocked if it's not Anwar and Louise. We'll have our stay or fold veto at some point. We have to kind of figure out what times work for everybody. And we'll have that later today. Depending on the time, we'll have to see if we can do eviction tonight. We might have to move eviction back to tomorrow before live night. Just depends. We got to figure out when we can even hold the fucking veto. Just fun stuff we live in. So definitely a veto today, definitely a veto ceremony today, and a renom today if necessary. Eviction TBD, maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow, join us back again for live night where our top 7 will be duking it out for a spot in the top 6. We'll have our auction, which shall be lots of fun, and then we'll have a veto where, no holds barred, as people are gonna... They want that spot in the top 6, and I'm ready to see them duke it out. We are so close to the end of this game. We literally end this game, not tomorrow. Next Sunday is the finale of Big Brother Hometown 16. Yes, we're still at 8 people. We're going to eat them all.
Honestly, this is a much better... I feel like we're at a much better ratio than we normally are. Like, I feel like we intentionally tried to not make the last week awful this season.
Hectic.
Yeah, we tried our best, but we've got a lot of content. Like, for those who've not followed our season or our series before, finale week is the best week because all of our challenges are basically live. So a lot of content, crucial wins. Like, everyone competing knows every win is crucial at this point. So I'm super excited to see how this game plays out. Before we go, who is winning Big Brother Hometown 16?
I said it a couple days ago, and I'll stick to it. Things have to go right tonight, but I think I'm going to stick with Caro here. I think people will be impressed in a game where people have won 4 comps like Kadri. Caro has controlled the narrative behind the scenes, and I think even if it means she's brought to the end at that final 3 HOH, she will be able to unleash a story that people had no idea about, blow some people's minds, and win this game. Whether she's sitting next to Anwar or Louise or even Elise, I think she has what it takes to win the game. So I'm going to stick with Caro.
That's a good pick.
I agree with Andrew. I think Caro's in the best spot to win the game, but I do think somebody is going to win their way to the end, and I do believe that person is going to be Kadri. Not Jeff. I think it's going to be Kadri.
How I would love to see his how he handled the jury questioning as a newbie and stuff like that. But
yeah, I think Kadri leaves us at 4. I'm not sure someone has clued him in that he needs to know shit about this game. Obviously, the tiebreaker did yesterday, but I'm not sure he knows that there are comps coming down the line that are only based on the game. I'm not sure if someone has clued him in on that. Once he gets clued in on that, then I have faith that Kadri can win this game, but that's the one obstacle I worry about for him. My winner pick would have been Caro coming in probably yesterday. My new winner pick is Olivia Pearson. I think she is in a very good spot now, and she has the chops to win this end game. I agree. Someone's going to win their way to the end, and I think it's Olivia.
That was my fantasy draft winner pick, so I'll take that.
If Olivia wins, I'll be beyond excited because it will be my first prod draft win, and so I will be beyond excited.
Yeah, I'm disgusted. Ricky, I wanted Olivia, you little bitch, for putting me in the 6th position. Asshole. Yeah, I was so mad you got Olivia so high. I didn't think she would go at 2. I was like, God damn it, I thought I might get her.
That was my winner pick. That's my winner.
But yeah, but it's anyone's, honestly. I would have said Caro yesterday, and now I'm saying Olivia. Tomorrow, I could say at least. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, who knows? That's what I love.
Amor is a sleeper to get there and win it if he can take himself off the block this round. I mean, he's got to survive this round, but
he needs a veto win.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going out if he doesn't.
Yeah. He's got to, if he can get past this one and the live night, then I would definitely be looking at Anwar as like a serious winner contender. But I think he's in danger.
He's in danger
the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, he needs a win. He needs a win bad, but stick with us. It's ramping up. We have no clue what's gonna happen. I'm so excited. The season has been so fucking good. My God, it's been so good. Like our last couple like newbie seasons have been really like 13, 14. This one have all really fucking delivered, and I can't wait to rank our seasons at some point again on and off the table.
15 delivered, just in a different way.
Yeah. The end game of 15 is one of my favorite end games I've ever watched in an org, period.
Yeah.
So, like, even that, but, like, as a season whole, like, 16 has been so good, top to fucking bottom. So, I'm sad to see it end, but I am excited to see how we get there. But that's all we have. Once again, stay or fold later today. We'll keep you updated about our schedule in terms of when the eviction is. TBD on that. But what will for sure be happening is I'll be back tomorrow, maybe at 10:30 if I remember, maybe 11 if someone has to text me to remind me. We'll figure it out. But tomorrow we will be back to discuss T, maybe even a power ranking segment of our final 8/7. Maybe, yeah, because there probably won't be a whole ton of tea to discuss. Who knows? We'll figure it out. We play it by ear here. But until next time, I'm peacing out. For me, for Mitchell Stokes on production, and for the current reigning winner of Instinct Season 4. And he'll be the current reigning for a while. I've got Team Instinct is not coming back till like September-ish, so enjoy your reign.
I will.
As the king of Instinct. But we're peacing on out. I'll catch y'all tomorrow at some time, probably 10:30. And I'll catch y'all in the Discord. Bye, everyone.